How's it going, everybody? So in this video, I'm going to be discussing Joseph Murphy and his book, The Power of the Subconscious Mind. So personally, I'm not a huge fan of Joseph Murphy's approach to these types of subjects, law of attraction, manifestation, etc. But I think a lot of people, especially those who are heavily skeptical about the whole magical aspect, the mystical aspect of law of attraction, might find Joseph Murphy's work and approach a lot easier to swallow than somebody who is, just able to kind of grasp the magical thinking and the mystical divine type approach that's given by people like Esther Hicks, Abraham Hicks, and Neville Goddard. Okay. So, and a lot of people who read stuff like Joseph Murphy or Neville Goddard, they're going to have completely different interpretations of what these people are saying and have different ways of perceiving it and get completely different kind of concepts and understandings from reading the same exact thing. And then, of course, in the comment section, people often will have wars, and they'll flame you and grill you if your interpretation of Neville Goddard or Joseph Murphy is not the same as theirs. And what I think is really interesting about this is law of attraction and manifestation stuff. Number one, the whole idea is your assumptions about reality, your beliefs about reality create reality. And basically reality is subjective, basically, according to these philosophies. So I don't know why, if reality is subjective and your assumptions about something actually creates the thing, then why would we be arguing about things like law of assumption and Neville Goddard and Joseph Murphy? Why are we arguing about, your assumptions about their work are wrong? That tells me that these people are actually not actually living in accordance with these teachings. But especially considering law of attraction and manifestation are they're not science, so to speak, but even science is up for interpretation. So I don't know, just the debating is funny. Basically, if it works for you, if it resonates with you, then keep doing it. That's what I would say. Because that's the name of the game. So anyway, Joseph Murphy and Power Subconscious Mind. So here's what I've gotten from it so far, okay? So basically, the subconscious mind you can think of as this underlying supercomputer that runs the entire show, right? So basically you have the gatekeeper, which is your conscious mind. Your conscious mind is basically what you choose to focus on. It's basically your surface level computer that you can use to gather information and that you can use to consciously, willfully, and effortlessly change your life and create things, right? It is the intentional programming software. That's what the conscious mind is. You basically use it to choose what you want and create what you want, and it feels like effort usually. Now the subconscious mind is basically the listener. It's more yin. It's more receiving. Whereas the conscious mind is yang. It's more doing and action and creating. Subconscious mind is the feelings of naturalness. It's the subconscious mind is like a storehouse of information, a storehouse of beliefs, a storehouse of habits. And so if you ever notice when you wake up in the morning, whatever your routines are, whatever your normal, whatever feels natural to you, according to this philosophy, is a subconscious mind in action. The subconscious mind, it takes the information you give it from the conscious mind, and it just solidifies the information and makes it a natural default tendency, okay? So, like people say brushing your teeth, is like natural supposedly for most people. And so, or whatever it is, like, your food cravings, your regular kind of emotional tendencies, your reactions to things. Like, some people, they get really angry when they hear the word fuck and they get triggered by it, and then they'll freak out at you about it. And it's like, well, it's just a word. Like what harm is the word actually doing you? Well, that's because these people are having like a knee-jerk pain body reaction to their default programming for the subconscious mind. And it was probably programmed consciously when they were younger by their parents. Their parents probably were telling them, hey, don't say the word fuck. It's like the devil. It's like horrible. And then they'll slap the kid. And they'll basically program the kid's subconscious mind to by default to naturally shun the word fuck and see the word fuck as a bad thing. So the thing is, though, there's a lapse in time between your outside world and the programming and it being solidified as a natural tendency. But when you're a child, your conscious mind is still developing, I guess, and basically you have less of a filter and you're more programmable. And then as the years go on, I don't know, some psychologists argue 12 to 16 years old or something is when you have most of your beliefs and stuff like that kind of solidified. And so that's basically when the conscious mind is or the subconscious mind is programmed. And then, of course, you have to undo all that programming as you grow older, right? So, you think about like traumatic experiences and stuff like that. Those things tend to cause trauma when you get older, and those are mostly just subconscious emotional scars that are programmed in your subconscious mind. And really the goal of therapy or counseling or whatever to get over traumas should be to use the conscious mind, help the patient use the conscious mind to change the subconscious programming that was inflicted from the traumatic experience, right? So anyway, the more intense, trauma is a good way to kind of look at it. So the idea of Joseph Murphy is, first of all, affirmation. Affirmation, just like the repetition, right? What Neville Goddard would call mental diets. Even if you don't feel it at first, it feels like effort because you're using your conscious mind to change your subconscious programming. Anything that feels natural to you is your subconscious programming that's already programmed. Anything that feels efforted and unnatural is like it's against your subconscious mind. That's why affirmations at first feel fake. They feel like imposter syndrome. They feel like unnatural and like just stressful and uncomfortable, right? So people who say, that's just not me. That's not my natural self. That's not my true self. What they're really saying is, well, I'm not already pre-programmed in my subconscious mind to act that way. And therefore, trying to be extroverted when I identify as an introvert is counter to my subconscious programming, basically. And really, this has been scientifically verified. The subconscious thing is more of a concept and a working theory or hypothesis with it's a theory because it has evidence. Hypothesis is a baseline, but lots of evidence to support this. We like objectively and factually, we can't prove that there's a true self or a soul. But what we can prove is, and there's actually more evidence to suggest the soul or the true self is a lie. But we can definitely see the progression of when you first are born, and then your influences in your environment and whatnot, kind of programming your mindset and your natural tendencies and stuff, and then who you become as an adult, right? And then you could see different things like schooling and education, and reading books and being influenced by other things as you grow older can completely change that programming over time. So there is a lot of evidence that you can see a direct correlation between influences and thoughts and whatnot, and then naturally programming someone as they grow older. So here's another thing to mention. This is very important, okay? And so again, the thoughts and the repetition of thoughts can program your subconscious mind, even if they feel like effort at first. And it's scary when you start to see thoughts manifest things. And also intuition is your subconscious mind urging you towards things that have been programmed. So that's kind of like the role of manifestation. Is like you repeat over and over again, I have a successful business and I make thousands of dollars a week or something. And you might, as you go through life, you might have weird intuitions and urges and hunches and that you can't explain by the logic mind, but 9 times out of 10, like most people say that their intuition is always right, even if it's not logically consistent at first, right? And whatever, that's a fishy and kind of scary subject to get into, but basically intuition and urges and hunches like that, intuitive feelings, they are basically your subconscious mind giving you a signal to act, to take action that is in accordance with your dominant thoughts and beliefs. So, intuition being right, it's only right in alignment with your beliefs and thoughts, right? So if your beliefs are the world sucks and all this other stuff and people are shit, and I'm poor, well, then your hunches and urges are only going to get you drunk on alcohol. They're going to get you addicted to porn and stuff like that, right? They're going to keep you stuck in alignment with the same urges. And this is actually very interesting and key. This is why detachment from the outcome, when your intention is to improve your life, seems to manifest for most people, because they're letting go of the effort and the stress, and their whole intention is to love life and believe in life and this and that. And next thing you know, instead of efforting and all this other stuff, they start to kind of naturally find their flow, because their dominant thoughts and beliefs are that of peace, and their intention is peace and whatnot. But this is also why people who are if you notice, a lot of people are stuck in the same cycles over and over again, and these are people that they have depression and they're always poor and always losing their jobs, and you ask them, hey, what, law of attraction, you can create your reality. They're like, no, fuck that. Life just sucks. There's nothing I can do about it. And, the majority of people follow their feelings. They follow their urges. And they're guided by their addictions to things like cigarettes and junk food and things like that. And so what do you know? They constantly are in a cycle of suffering over and over again that they constantly kind of entertain. Because, anyway, and then whatever actions they take and urges, it's usually from a place of scarcity. Like, I don't have enough money. I've got to try really hard to make money. It's basically taking action on the assumption that that you've got to grind, you've got to feel like, you got to suffer to see success. And very few people are able to navigate towards what they want without the understanding of how subconscious mind and stuff works. So anyway, so another thing so your assumptions also create reality. So if you just detach from the outcome, but you assume if you assume that life will be better when you do, or that manifestations will come when you do, then you're able to bring that to you via the subconscious mind and believing in that so-called technique, right? If you believe affirmations will work, then you will bring it about. But if you assume that your affirmations won't work, that's why a lot of people who try to use law of attraction and stuff like that, you'll see them complaining on Reddit forums and YouTube comments about how it's bullshit, right? Partly because of the assumptions about law of attraction being bullshit. And then the other part of it is that their dominant emotions are reflecting in their beliefs about life and all these other things, and the way they're affirming and their intention behind affirming too. It's all scarcity. It's all lack. It's vibrating in a state of lack, and therefore they're getting more lack, and then they're complaining about the lack of results from the law of attraction. And so that's kind of how that works, according to subconscious mind and what theory and whatnot. So another thing, this is the most important thing, is like, just by affirming over and over again and using mental diets and being persistent in the end, by persistently affirming and using affirmations, you will eventually, inevitably create what you want, or at least you'll start to see these things manifest, even if they're not 100% accurate and good. But, you know, the emotion that you attach to affirmations will bring it about faster, okay? And for me personally, I would say emotions and assumptions create faster than anything else. But your affirmations and what you visualize, it's almost like magic. I'll make affirmations with the exact people in them and the exact subject, right? Like $20 like an exact number of money. I start to see $20 bills randomly sometimes, or $20 given to me via like prepaid gas or something crazy like that, or a $20 donation on my Instagram or my YouTube channel or something. I've had shit like that, or saying like, oh, I will be awarded a promotion in jiu-jitsu by Professor Christopher or whatever, and then that person gives me my promotion within a week or something. Like, I've had these things happen. So anyway, affirmations are very powerful. If you're very specific and you're persistent in them, combined with letting go, actually, I found, and not being attached to them, they magically manifest, and it's really magical and unexplainable. But I believe emotion is very powerful too. So the key is, like we mentioned earlier, we're talking about trauma, right? So have you ever thought about something super traumatic that happens to people, right? It scars them for life, and even consciously they might know, like, hey, that's irrational to be scared of that happening again. And rationally they might know, like, oh, that's unlikely to ever happen to me again, or whatever it is, right? Being scared of that event is irrational. It doesn't make sense. But they still naturally have a tendency to be scared of that, whatever they're traumatized for, happening, right? They're still emotionally scarred from it, and therefore they have natural tendencies to react to it whenever it comes up in their life. And so this is the power of emotion plus conscious action. So if you affirm, I am a millionaire with the emotions of scarcity, you're affirming money with the emotion of scarcity, and you're imprinting that emotion on your subconscious mind. Of course, again, just intentionally affirming over time should change that eventually, and eventually your emotions will change. But or it'll just, you'll take action where you're just tired of being poor, and you're just like, yeah, I'm tired of affirming. It's time to actually make money, right? Or whatever it is, right? Point is, affirmations are much more powerful when you combine them with emotion. Emotion kind of solidifies it faster and makes a deeper impression on your subconscious mind. Okay? So from what I've gathered, Joseph Murphy and the Power of the Subconscious Mind is a lot more about, hey, what are my natural urges? Like, it's basically creating your true self. It's training your true self. So, whatever you think is natural to you, your natural self, your authentic self, or whatever, Power of the Subconscious Mind is all about harnessing that default kind of mode, right? And so, basically, here's what it looks like is, whatever you affirm over and over again, whatever you assume about reality, and whatever you feel in your heart, okay, your subconscious mind is going to naturally start to make you act in accordance with those affirmations, those assumptions, and those emotions. and you're going to start to naturally take actions in regards to that. Okay, this is called self-fulfilling prophecies in the scientific literature. This is a scientifically verified principle that's true. It's real. And not only are you going to start to behave in a way that reflects your subconscious affirmation, your conscious affirmations and your feeling states and your assumptions about reality, right? Whatever you believe about reality will start to create confirmation bias to continue to reinforce that belief. It'll start to create urges, intuitive feelings that are like, oh my God, like, I don't know why, but I really feel like I need to join this, I need to apply for this job. Like, you'll be like, I have this really awesome job right now, but for something in my heart is telling me this job is going to be better. Even though consciously it looks kind of shaky and unstable, but something in my heart's telling me I got to do this. That following that urge is following your subconscious programming that's in alignment with your beliefs, assumptions, and affirmations. And so that's why you hear people like Elliot Hulse a long time ago saying following your heart and all this crazy shit, right? It's a romanticized concept. Following your heart, it's just a romanticized way of framing the power of the subconscious mind. But you got to remember, intuition is not really, just because you feel good about a diet, just because your intuition is guiding you somewhere, it doesn't mean it's going to guide you to where you want. Your intuition doesn't always guide you where you want. Like, what do you think? It's just it's like God or something? No. Look at all these raw vegans who say they feel good on raw veganism and their freaking intuition supposedly guided them to that and it's working for them and their teeth are falling out, nutrient deficiencies, whatever. No. Basically what it is they have affirmations and they have beliefs and things that guide them there. And then it's like, it might work for some people to reverse some diseases, but it also kind of manifests as, some other side effects and negative things. And it's like, you can try all you want to change your belief about raw veganism, and maybe it'll guide you towards making it work for you. But it's not, you can't just be like, hey, change your beliefs about raw veganism and then make the fault. It's just like let's just say, I don't know, a drug like crack cocaine. You could try all you want to be like, crack cocaine is not addictive. Crack cocaine doesn't, speed my heart rate or whatever. And I've never done crack cocaine, but whatever. You could do all you want to try to like change your beliefs about crack cocaine. But at the end of the day, when you smoke crack cocaine, you're going to get fucking cracked out and it's still going to be crack cocaine. Same way that these, you could try all you want to change your beliefs about standing in front of a train and letting a train hit you. But at the end of the day, you're going to fucking die if you stand in front of a train. Okay? And so it's more, so what I have found, like with Abraham Hicks, for example, I've talked in the past about changing your, just your emotions and your emotional guidance system and your beliefs and stuff. And then just feeling in alignment with what it is you want. If I'm affirming I am healthy, happy, vigorous, right? I start to just follow things that are in alignment with those feelings, and then that's kind of the manifestation that I get, provided I fully believe in the process, and then I manifest it, right? It's a different way of kind of, obviously your subconscious mind is not going to urge you to stand in front of a train and get hit unless your freaking affirmations and beliefs about reality are in alignment with suicide and depressive thoughts and that life isn't worth living. You ever thought, now that's an interesting thing. To me, the power of the subconscious mind and Joseph Murphy is not law of attraction, manifestation. It's not mystical divine stuff. It's scientifically validated concepts that work, that actually work. Now, and an interesting thing is if you look at the Joseph Murphy Reddit forum, you will see their moderators are very mean, I guess. They're very blunt, and they will delete your thread if they think that it's bullshit. and that doesn't really promote popularity and mainstream success in the forum, but it definitely promotes being in alignment with what they feel is right. And basically, from what I've gathered, it's like it's a surefire way to get your money, to get what you want in life. It's just not as sexy as the law of attraction, The Secret, Rhonda Byrne, Abraham Hicks, the spiritual, magical, divine, God type of stuff. It's like a legitimate concept. It's just a way of it really, the power of the subconscious mind and Joseph Murphy, it is a framework. It's a guidebook on how to use the placebo effect, how to use intuition, how to use confirmation bias, affirmations, and all these other things, scientifically validated concepts to create the life that you want and to actually achieve your goals. I think if you look at the power of the subconscious mind the way I've laid it out here, it's a way to make success a default mode for you. So like a lot of people legitimately have, like, they identify with the wrong beliefs instead of, and like for example, when I was younger, I was told, oh, you're crazy, you're mentally ill, you're never going to live a normal life. And most people hear that and they identify with it, and voila, it manifests that the rest of their life. But for me, I'm like, nah, I'm normal. I can control my emotions, whatever. And through a series of events and my assumptions about reality and my affirmations and influences and all that other stuff, I've successfully proved everything they said wrong about me, right? But most people, they live their life just believing what the cards they've been dealt, believing those assumptions, identifying with their sickness, identifying with, oh, I am a soul, I am an introvert, I am an extrovert, I am a Gemini, I am an Aries, or whatever it is, my astrological sign, whatever. And then they give life a story or an identity, and then they stick with it. And then voila, no surprise, their reality reflects their beliefs and assumptions. And then anytime someone has different opposing beliefs in them, people like waste their time and energy arguing with them as if their beliefs about reality are going to be true for everyone else. The fact is, look, other people, first of all, politics, like, I don't even know. Okay, like, I'm going to totally waste my time arguing with other people about politics when it's like politics and Joe Biden and all these people, they don't have any bearing on my own power of subconscious mind and creating what I want in my life. Because if you use the power of the subconscious mind properly, then what happens is whatever crazy stuff's going on in politics, you'll somehow follow the bridge of incidences to move to another country or whatever it might be that is in alignment with your own personal vision and goals and affirmations and beliefs about reality, to the point where it's like you're not actually going to be suffering from those problems, if that makes sense. It's like, oh, I've followed my subconscious mind power or whatever, and now I'm in a reality where none of that shit matters. And meanwhile, you're arguing about how we could fix a broken system that doesn't even change based on my own individual conscious actions anyway. It's it's like a joint effort. You're always at the mercy of society and whatever country you live in and who they vote for or whatever it is, right? It's like, wouldn't you rather take your own power into your own hands? But yeah, so anyway, that's all I'm going to say on this. I find this fascinating. I like the idea that it's more of a magical thing because I just feel like it's more powerful and you have a more whatever. But yeah, let me know what y'all think in the comments and I'll talk to y'all next time.